this one thing you did. And maybe I just can't believe it.
Hey YouTube, it's your girl Drknlvely, aka Robin, and welcome back to my channel. And if it's your first time seeing the mug, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and click that subscribe button, become part of the Dark Knight Squad. We lit over here. I'm your good sis, you my good sis. So today's video will be me going over stories that I've experienced thus far since moving to Houston and on these dating apps. Now, disclaimer, I did not move to Houston or Texas, whatever you want to call it, because my man or my husband, my future husband, doesn't necessarily have to be in Houston. But I did not move to Texas, okay, to find a husband. Okay, I moved here to find a home, buy my first home, in which I did. Video coming soon, okay? But it wasn't like boo 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 boo. Oh, and when I get out there, I'm gonna do this with these men. No, it was like focus, focus, focus. I use the apps to see what's out there because I'm not out in these streets like that. Of course, me getting to know people and finding places to go and still having a job and still doing content. So, you know, my focus is elsewhere and not really on the dating apps. So I use the dating apps for convenience. Well, not on dating. I use the dating apps for convenience. So thus far, I wrote their names down. Thus far, I've had four experiences worth mentioning as a single black female dating in Houston on dating apps. Specifically, I am not going out looking for men. So this is specifically dating app experiences, okay? Not everyone's experience will be like me. I am about to be 35 years old, so it's just getting up there, okay? I'm not getting any younger. I use Hinge and Black, BLK and Hinge. These are what their apps look like. I'm never on them at the same time. I literally either have Black downloaded and not on Hinge, or have Hinge downloaded and not on Black. So I go in between. I tried Bumble, didn't like it. I was like, nope, get off here. So I can take it or leave it. Like, I don't need the apps. If I get tired and it's just nothing biting out here, I will literally delete it and move on with my life. It is what it is. So girl, I actually have not been out on any dates, air quotes, because the last guy, I guess it was a meetup, but I haven't, thus far since moving here, have not met up with anybody. And it just never gets that far. It's so hard dating as a older black woman out here in these streets. So I've never met up with anyone except for one dude, and I'll tell you the story because that's the longest story. So the first guy, we're gonna call him Cigar Lounge Dude, okay? Cigar Lounge Dude, I met him on Hinge. Yes, he was on Hinge. So we're talking, we're, you know, getting to know each other, and he kind of cute. So I have 3 levels of how I will respond to you on these apps. Level 1 is pump your brakes. I'm not giving you my number. Okay, we can continue to talk on this app and see where it goes. Okay. Level 2 is I'm kind of feeling you, so let me shoot you my Google number, baby, so we can at least have that instantaneously contact with the text messages, right? And third is straight lust fuckery. I'm literally lusting after you. I will give you my number, straight up, just give you my number, okay? That's the 3 levels of how I operate on these apps. And it's been a long time on these apps since I've been on level 3. Okay, Lounge Dude was like, level 2. I gave him my Google number. So we're texting on there and it's going good, or whatsoever, and we're talking, or getting through things, or whatsoever. So he's asking me about my day. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get my radio installed, in my new radio system installed in my car, or whatsoever. He's like, oh okay, yeah. I was like, well, what do you have planned today? He's like, oh, I'm gonna be going to the gun show. And I'm like, wow. He's like, I guess I have to get used to hearing that. And he's like, yeah. He's like, we'll see. And like, this nigga was like trying to make it seem like I was pressing him, like seeing a future with him. And I was like, no, nigga, I'm from California. We don't hear going to gun shows as a pastime. You know what I'm saying? You go to a football game or a baseball game, but gun show. He's like, oh. I was like, yeah, nigga, yeah. I'm not pressed like that. I don't even know you like that. I don't even know if I want to know you like that. Anyways, so we're like talking throughout the day. He's asking me updates. He's like, make sure, the system you get, make sure, because niggas be stealing radio systems. I'm like, I'm already knowing, but I'm like, the system I picked, it looks stock like in my car, so it doesn't look like it's like flashy or anything. He's like, good, that's good, or whatsoever, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, I see you. So the vibe is there. So we're talking back and forth. So we plan to link up later that day, right? So that time comes and he's like, I'm back from getting my situation handled with my radio, and I hit him up and I'm like, are you still trying to link? Like, I didn't know if you were trying to do like a late evening or like a late afternoon or early evening, or whatsoever, because I prefer to meet people during, when it's light outside, honestly, and in a public place. So when I say link, I mean as in meet up in a public place, not sneaky link, okay? So I'm like, are we still gonna link? He's like, yeah. He's like, maybe, he's like, we're gonna go shoot some hoops, and then he's like, me and the boys are gonna go shoot some hoops, and then we're gonna go to the cigar lounge. You can meet us there. And I'm like, us? And I'm like, sir, I'm like, but who's we? He's like, oh, me and the boys are about to go to the cigar lounge. I was thinking you could just meet us up there. And I'm like, me chow. I'm like, what? I'm like, firstly, red flag, because it went from just me and you linking up to now it's me, you, and the boys. And it's just like, who do you think I am? Secondly, the main thing was like, I don't even like cigarette smoke, and cigar smoke is on a whole nother different level. So I'm like, no, I'm like, the cigar smoke really messes with, my allergies, or whatsoever. He's like, oh, no, we're gonna be sitting outside. I was like, no, sir. I was like, no, I'm good. I was like, and also I just washed my hair. I don't want my hair smelling like smoke. He's like, well, no. He's like, well, I mean, he's like, you could take an allergy pill. I'm like, sir, now, why are you pressing me like this? I said, no, I don't want to meet y'all at no cigar bar or, whatsoever. So I'm like, no, I'm good. Enjoy your time. And I'm like, maybe we could link up another time, or whatsoever. Because how it is, like, a bitch is not desperate to meet people, but I do enjoy meeting new people, period. Like, I'm a people person. So rather it's on some, oh, I'm trying to see what you do, or it's just like, I just like talking to new people. Like, that's what I do. So it's like, me linking with him is not like an act of desperation and like trying to add another date on. It's just me like trying to be in this new place and meet people, because half of the time it's not what you know, it's who you know, or whatsoever. So I was like, maybe we'll, link another time, because I'm just trying to get out here in these streets and just see, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. So I just chopped it up as, nah, sir, I'm good, and left it at that. Didn't think I would ever hear from him again. And I get a text message later on that night. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, what's up? He's like, what you doing? We just left the cigar lounge. I'm like, oh, nothing. I'm chilling. I'm eating. He's like, I'm cooking. He's like, what'd you cook? I told him what to cook. He's like, oh, that sounds healthy. These Texas men out here don't be eating no fucking vegetables. And I just be like, huh? He's like, that sounds healthy. I was like, yeah, it was good, or whatsoever. So he didn't really press the like, oh, you trying to link now or nothing or whatsoever. And honestly, we talked a little bit more that night, and I was telling him about my sweet potato cookies, and he was like, oh, that sound bomb as hell. And I sent him a picture. He's like, that looked good as hell. I was like, you know, he was like he was thinking that I was gonna come slide through and give him a cookie. I'm like, no, sir. I was like, keep that. He's like, oh, I got excited. I was like, nah, keep that same energy for the future, possibly. And that was it. Next day, he didn't text me. I didn't text him. It is what it is. So that was one experience with, he was probably like 28, 29. No, he was like at least 30, at least. And let's say the content creator dude. So he was interested in me being a content creator, and I love talking about making content. So I was like, oh, you interested in content creating? Like, okay, let's talk, you know? So we're literally talking, but then girl, why does this whole conversation, he actually calls me on Hinge. So we're having an actual phone conversation. And I don't know if y'all know, but I like to talk. So I'm literally just blah, 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 just talking about content, how much I love it, how much it makes me happy, and you know, all this stuff or whatsoever. Girl, so then the phone, you know, we get off the phone, and then he starts telling me about stuff that he wants to do and like what he's interested in. On a second conversation on the phone, he's like, oh, you know, I have this social media platform that I'm looking to help smaller YouTube, you know, smaller content creators get the exposure and actually like monetize off of, you know, their social medias or, you know, whatsoever. So I'm like, okay, that's really, really cool. But are you trying to sell me a product, sir? Are you trying to get to know me? Because I was more on a get to know you, date you level, and I feel like now this has turned into a sales call. So he's like, yeah, he's like, let's set up a Zoom call. He's like, I'll send you the link, and I could just show you around and show you around the app and all this. And I'm just like, my lady boner went away. I was like, I do not want to do this. So I go through it because I want to know more about it, but this is not what I signed up for. I did not sign up to be on the app to get pitched to by a company, okay? So we set up the Zoom call. He calls me that day. I'm like irritated heavily. I can't remember why. There's another nigga on the phone call on the screen. I'm like, what? So he's showing me around. It's very formal. I'm like, this is not what I signed up for, sir. Not at all. Yeah, so he's like, if you're interested. I'm like, yeah, it seems interesting, but I just need to know more about it. In regards to, you know, if I want to do this, literally BSing, because at the end of the day, I can be a bitch sometimes, but I am still a nice person. I like to respect people. I only disrespect people when they disrespect me. So this man has never disrespected me, so I'm still trying to be courteous in regards. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm, you know, interested. He's like, yeah, so I'll share, you know, at this point, we still have not exchanged numbers or, you know, whatsoever. Girl, he had me send an NDA or sign an NDA for this app and not sharing any of the information I saw, which it was like barely anything. It was still like very beta, and it only worked with Twitter for now. And I'm like, I don't even use Twitter like that. So this really does not help me at all. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna link my number in the chat. And he's like, and then, you know, we'll go from there. I was like, okay, bye, click, hung up. Girl, I'm just like glad to be off the damn phone call and moving on with my day, you know, or whatsoever. So then he has the audacity to hit me up on Hinge still. We were still matched. And he's like, it looks like we won't be able to move forward with you in regards to Golden Starfly or whatever the fuck it was called. I'm just like, nigga. It went from us literally, well, for me in regards to on this dating app to meet people to date, to you pitching me your whack ass online creator platform community. Oh, and on top of that, it would cost money. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. So, and then you hit me with this, oh, it looks like we're not gonna be able to move forward. I'm like, nigga, I don't wanna move forward with that bullshit anyway. Like, I was talking to you to possibly look to get to know you better, not to become part of your Ponzi scheme and, you know, whatever. So I was just like, nigga, whatever, unmatch, whatever. And I'm like, anyways, so that was that. So I've gotten pitched to. Other dude was make a date and cancel, dude. Okay, so Hinge, once again, we're on Hinge. This dude, he's giving me African vibes. He's tall, you know, dark, you know, he's cute. It's like, okay, I need to see you in person kind of vibe. So we're talking, hey, how you doing? How's it going? Good. How's your day going? Good. You know, welcome to Texas, Buzz Splee, all this, all that. And mind you, I met him around the same time I met Cigar Lounge guy on the app. So we're like 3-4 messages in. He's like, can we exchange numbers? And I'm like, sir, I'm sorry. My pet peeve with that is like, you're trying to make it convenient for you. And I'm just not with that. I'm like, why are you on this dating app to meet people if you're not going to be on here and use the dating app to communicate with these people? And I'm like, people who do that, I'm just like, so you just got random at a whole butt ton of like random female like threads in your phone? Because, huh? Like literally 3 messages in, you don't even know if I'm a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm a real woman, but you want to give me your number. And for me, it's just more personal than that in regards to my number. Like, no, I've had my number for 10+ years. It's attached to me, baby. You could find out stuff about me with my number. And I'm just like, I'm just not here for it. Okay, so no. So he's like, girl, what did he say? He hit me with, I was like, no, let's see if you even want my number. Let's talk a little bit more and go from there, and then possibly exchange numbers in the near future. He's like, I guess. He said something, but it was definitely I guess at the end. Like, I guess that'll work or some bullshit like that. I'm like, it will work, nigga, because if you not about it, then unmatch. It's nothing or whatever. So continue talking, like literally good mornings, how's your day going, you know, the normal stuff, keeping up the work, keeping up the conversation. Like it didn't die down, you know, it was just it kept going, right? So sis is getting tired because nothing's happening, you know, or whatsoever. So once again, me being the forward ass Virgo I am, I was like, look, I'm trying to go to a sushi spot. I ain't been to a sushi spot since I've been to Texas, and then I haven't had sushi in like a year and 2 months because of COVID, you know, all of 2020. So I'm like, I need a sushi fix now. He's like, I hate sushi. Mind you, one of the major like prompts or whatever they have on Hinge is like, you can make me happy by feeding me sushi, right? So I'm like, first of all, you didn't read my profile because I love sushi. So if you don't love sushi, then we have a problem. So he's like, nah, I don't like sushi. I was like, well, you know, maybe we could do something else. He's like, nah, let's have sushi. Let's go to the sushi spot. I'm pretty sure they have something else there that I could eat. And I'm like, nah, I kind of want to go to a sushi spot with someone who likes sushi so we can engage in a sushi spot. I don't want to go to a sushi spot and get a steak. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm pretty sure they have like a steak of potatoes. I'm like, oh, this nigga don't eat vegetables. So I'm like, no, it's cool. He's like, no. He's like, what's the name of the spot? I'm pretty sure I can find something. I'm like, look, it's fine. You don't like sushi. Why would we go to a sushi spot if you don't like sushi? So let's try something else. He's like, well, what do you... I'm like, I don't know. I'm still new. He's like, oh, he's like, I forgot. I was like, he's like, well, what about this spot? It was like a Brazilian spot, you know, the ones where they cut the meat off the sword. They come to your table and cut the meat off your sword. So he picked, like, I told him the name, and he was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, this one's cool, this one's cool. And I'm like, okay. It was kind of low-key expensive, but I wanted to try it. So if I had to pay for myself, I was completely okay with that. So It's Friday, I believe. And I'm like, okay, so is this happening tonight or, you know, tomorrow? He's like, oh no, he's like, I'm out of town right now on work. He's like, it'll have to be next Saturday. I'm like, even better, because I didn't feel like, you know, getting ready today or whatever. I think I needed eyelash on my eyebrows needed to be done or something like that. So I was like, cool, even better. Girl, so make the date. Like on a Friday, we're still on the app, mind you. Why do I go in there to look at the conversation and he unmatched us? And I'm just like, why? What was the point, sir? Why would you wait? You could have unmatched me when I told you I didn't want to give you my number, but you sat there, kept up a conversation, a fluid conversation, made a whole date. But it's like you wasted time and my time and your time in regards to keeping up this conversation when you were just gonna unmatch me. For what? What was the whole point? It's like you made a date and then you canceled it. And like, yeah, I suggested it and you could have just been like, nah, I'm good, or I'm out of town right now. Like, I'm a good, like, come up with lie real quick. I'm like, oh, you know, I'm out of town right now, so let's link up when I come back. No, you giving me suggestions, asking for names, looking at, what? I'm just confused in regards to the play and the game. I'm just like, I don't get it. It was just irritating to me. So then I got off Hinge because I think all of those stories were on Hinge. So I'm like, you know what, Hinge, I'm good. So I moved over to BOK Black. Girl, I'm sorry. We all know, if you use the app, we all know that Black is very ghetto. It's very Soul Swipe. I don't know if Soul Swipe made it, like it was a regional thing, but Soul Swipe is very Soul Swipe-ish. I think possibly Soul Swipe got bought up by whoever has BOK and then they just made it BOK. So talking to this dude, his name is Kevin. We're gonna call him Grills. Kevin. So Kevin was 30. He was in a 2-mile radius of me and he had a cute little face. He had a little baby face. I was like, okay, he gave me Chris Brown vibes, but like a more browner Chris Brown, like a more mocha Chris Brown, right? So I'm like, okay, he kind of cute or whatever. And I'm like, oh, he looks like he has really nice, you know, teeth. I'm a stickler for teeth. So I'm like, cool. So I was like, okay, let's give Kev a try. It was Kev, that's what he was underneath. He was underneath Kev, but come to find out his name was Kevin. Okay, so conversation's going good, girl. Like, good. Like, we are vibing. We like a lot of the same shows. We're vibing on that. And I'm like, I'm a big TV buff. Like, I call myself a TV baby. I grew up on TV. It wasn't going outside. My mama brought me a 25-inch TV and I literally sat inside because she wouldn't allow me to go outside. So I was inside watching TV. So I'm really big on television. I watch. Anywho, so we're talking about shows, baby, and it's hitting. I'm like, yeah, this and that and that and that, going back, and I'm like, okay, Kev, I see you. It's going good, right? So long story short, in regards to that, conversation going good, but then I note that on some of his messages on the app, and he's not pressing me to get off the app, so I love it. Okay, I noticed that a couple of his messages, specifically words that end in CK, like back, check, pack, you know, all those words. I'm like, what other words are there? I can't think of them, but those words like that, he's specifically not putting CK, he's putting CC. Now, y'all don't know, but I'm from Los Angeles, California, okay? The gang capital of the world. Yeah, I'm just like, and I've dated, okay? There said, you know, a couple of gang members that were affiliated, okay? I have dated some, okay? Don't judge me, judge your mama, okay? So I know about that life. Family, I'm tied by blood to the gang life, so I know. So I'm like, sir, I have a question. I'm like, are you affiliated? Because I've noticed that in multiple text messages on multiple occasions that you have neglected to put a CK at the end and you're putting CC. He's all, and I'm using this voice because I've now met him and I know what he sounds like. So this is my impression of Kev. He's like, oh man, I knew this was gonna come up. He's like, yeah, I was affiliated, but I'm not affiliated anymore. And it's just, you know, it just comes in my phone like that. He's like, I don't do it. It's just saved in my phone like that with the autocorrect. And I'm like, I get it with you being, you were affiliated. I'm not even judging you on that, baby, because I don't judge like that. I'm like, I'm not even judging you on that. If you're changing your life around, good for you. Not even judging you on that. I'm judging you on talking about some damn autocorrect. I've seen in your pictures that you have a iPhone, okay? And I don't know how many times, y'all, that I type F-U-C-K in my phone. Duck will always come up, okay? Duck, 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 duck. And I'm just like, okay, sir, if you say so. Anyways, moving on. Not even holding that against him at this point. I'm just trying to get to know this man. You know, it's still really early and I'm not holding the gang affiliation against him. That's just, I'm from LA. It's a normal thing out there. So it's like, okay, moving on or whatever. I'm not going to, it's noted in my head, but I'm not gonna put that like as a major red flag. I see it as like a yellow flag. It's noted, okay? So then we're talking, conversation's good morning, all that. And so I'm like, you got a, you know, baby face, and this nigga's feeling himself. I'm like, I mean, you cute and all, but you're not like, damn, like you're not level 3, baby. The levels, we're gonna break it down here. The levels, you're not level 3, baby. You're not even level 2, you're just level 1, and you're not pressing me to get the number, so we're gonna stay at level 1. So yeah, so we're talking and he's asking me how my day's going. I'm like, good. How's your day? He's like, good. He's like, I just went to Whataburger. And I'm like, oh, I was like, I haven't been to Whataburger. I'm like, what'd you get at Whataburger? He's like, oh, I got a bacon double cheeseburger, double bacon, extra cheese, no veggies. I was like, huh? I was like, no veggies, sir. I'm like, please don't tell me you one of them niggas that don't eat veggies. He's like, ugh. He's like, vegetables are nasty. Once again, in his voice, in his tone, because I met him and I know what he sounds like. He said, ugh, vegetables are disgusting. And I'm like, how are you a grown-ass man and don't eat vegetables? It bugs me because I absolutely love, y'all know I love vegetables. I love vegetables. I can eat vegetables. I really necessarily don't even need meat because I love vegetables that much, okay? So I'm just like, oh, I'm like, what? That's more of a red flag than the gang affiliation, y'all. I'm telling you, I was like, oh God, you don't like vegetables? Chrissy Teigen face. I was like, I was like, okay, still going good conversation. He's winning me over with our commonalities in regards to shows and our conversation in regards to that. So he's still winning me over with that in regards to just that day-to-day and having someone that's into stuff that you like or whatever. So once again, not looking to marry this man. It was high-key just nice to be able to talk to someone every day on a daily basis and communicate and vibe, you know? So we get through the normals, like, oh, how tall are you? They always want to know how tall I am because like I look tall, I guess they say. And I was like, oh, I'm 5'7". He's like, oh, you're kind of tall. He's like, I'm 6'1". I was like, okay, but I'm 5'7", you're 6'1". That should not be a problem, right? Note, I need y'all to note, he said he was 6'1", right? Cool. He tells me he works at Sam's Club, and I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, I was like, I mess with him. I mess heavy with Sam's Club. I'm like, I go to Sam's Club and Costco. I'm like, so he's like, oh, I ain't never been to Costco. I was like, bet. I was like, next time I go to Costco, I was like, I will bring you along so you can experience. Because I'm like, I feel like everybody needs to experience Costco once, right? So we're going good. It's going good. We're talking, we're learning more. you know, about each other in regards to that. So now that I'm spending more time talking to this man, of course I'm like, okay, I need to go back and look at his pictures and see if I really want to take this far. I need to deep dive even more. So I look at his pictures and I remember I noted that he had very nice teeth, but then I zoomed in, sis, and I noticed in every picture he has grills. And I'm like, huh? And then I zoom in on a lower, on one of the pics, and in the lower bottom, like left-hand corner, there's a finger sticking out, and it has a dirty nail on it. And I was like, okay. Once again, the Virgo in me was like, sir, I was like, are your grills removable? He's like, oh, yeah. And I was like, and do you have nails? He's like, haha. He's like, you're very observant. I was like, yes, I am. He's like, yeah, I have nails or something like that or whatever. Like his nails are long. Like he don't have nails, but his nails are long. I was like, went on like a big ass men should not have nails and why I think they shouldn't have nails rant. Okay, you would think that you would take that into account as a man, like, damn, this bitch really don't like nails. I might have to cut my nails or whatever, or trim them or something. I don't need you ski balling on your nails, okay? But I need you not to have them long and nasty, okay? More things are coming up, but once again, just not out here desperate. It's just our conversation and the vibe was cool. So honestly, without us meeting in person, I was completely okay with that day-to-day conversation we was having. Sadly, it may sound sad, but it was just nice to have that day-to-day conversation. So I was more interested in keeping that up as opposed to possibly dating this man, because the flags and the ants are adding up. We're in a 2-mile radius. So he's like, oh, you know, we're talking about apartments and losing power and stuff like that. Like we are literally vibing. Like it's crazy. We're literally just talking and cracking jokes, and it was just air. Like the vibe was there. And he's like, what apartment you stay in? I'm like, sir, I was like, it is too early for me to be telling you that. I'm like, if you know it goes a little bit further in due time, you will find that out. But I'm like, I'm not telling you. He's like, okay, that's understandable. Now mind you, during this time when I met him, I was going through my bald-headed scallywag stage in regards to my lashes. I had took my lashes off. So with us vibing so much, I was amped in the beginning to meet him until I started learning all these other things. So then learning all the dirty fingernails and the not vegetables kind of like pushed it off, you know, a little bit. So I was like, normally 2-mile radius, we just around the corner, we could meet at the Starbucks or anything like that. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a bald-headed scallywag, right? So I was like, I don't know, I want to meet up with him. But then once everything started coming to a head, I was like, I'm not really pressing it, you know, or whatsoever. But wanted to get my eyelashes done for me and then possibly meet this nigga in the meantime, you know, or whatsoever. So Saturday came and I was going to Costco, right? And oh boy, we were still conversating. It was going good. Costco time came, and I was like, you know what? I was like, let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I was like, I'm gonna meet oh boy at Costco, because he said he wanted to go to Costco and then also go to Costco and get my errands done or whatsoever. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So I hit him up on the app. I know it's last minute, but I was like, do you want to shoot up to Costco, you know, with me, or you know, whatsoever? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'll slide to Costco with you. I was like, cool. I was like, okay, I'm getting ready to leave. I was like, FYI, I am in plain and running errand clothes. I'm not dressed up, so you know, don't expect nothing, and I won't expect anything from you. But FYI, I'm wearing clothes. I'm dressed, but I'm not dressed up. Drive over to Costco. I tell him which one we're going to, the one on Richmond, and I'm like, okay, so meet you there. He's like, cool. I was like, that. So I go there, and in my head, as I'm walking or as I'm driving there, I'm like, there's either 2 things. And because I don't have any eyelashes on. So it's either that I'm becoming very comfortable with my bald-headed scallywag eyelashes not being there, that I could put forth that confidence and not really worry about not having eyelashes, or it's just that I'm not interested in you like that to want to look good for you. So it's one or two things, and I think it's number 2. It's a little bit from column A and it's a little bit from column B, but more column B. I just not really interested in you like that, and this meeting in person will solidify that, either more or less, right? So get there, waiting. He walks up. Mind you, I said that I wasn't dressed, I was just wearing errand clothes. Well, you know, niggas, they wear different errand clothes. Well, he was wearing a stretched out V-neck and some basketball shorts, some socks, some Jordan slides, and his grill. I was like, huh? I was like, okay, we're wearing grills to Costco. Cool. But mind you, sis, he walk up, we looking eye to eye. I have my knockoff Birkenstocks on, not even maybe an inch of lift in those. I'm looking at him eye to eye, mind you, almost looking down at him. Do you remember how tall he said he was? He said he was 6'1". Let me go get the measuring tape. This is 6'1". I'm 5'7" and 3/4. This is 6'1". The top of your head is right here, and then your eyes are probably right here. I should be looking up at you, sir. I should be looking up. In what universe, sir, are you 6'1"? In your mind, you are 6'1", but you are not. And the audacity that you would lie. You 6'1" in some lifts, some Air Maxes. Air Maxes give you at least two inches maybe, but not from 5'7", sir. Girl, I'm already here. I'm already here. Let's just finish it out. Didn't smell like anything. Very chest caved in, small body. It just, there's nothing wrong with a caved in chest. Like, there's nothing. I like skinny. I like whatever I like. Honestly, I have a type, but I really don't. But my favorite body type is a basketball body type. Tall, muscular, but not too big. I can't have you bodybuilding because that's just not my steez. So yeah, he wasn't given what he said he was supposed to have gave. On top of him being short, it's just like your energy that you was giving in the pictures is not the energy you give in person. And that's why it's like our energy over text messaging, yes, but that energy in person, no, wasn't the same. So I'm literally not disappointed, because I'm disappointed that he basically lied about his height, but then also like, damn, it was confirmed that this isn't going anywhere. So we're around shopping or whatever. So now that I hear his voice, it's very, dare I say, corny. Like, affiliated where, sir? You have no swag at all. I am more affiliated than you, sir. You're a wannabe. Anyway, so we're walking, and it comes out that he don't like seafood either. And I'm just like, you know, it was already a wrap. It was already done so, but it keeps adding up. And I'm just like, what? So he's very like timid. I don't know if he was nervous or, you know, whatsoever, but it was just not there. So we're walking around, you know, we're barely talking or whatever. So we go to the line to check out, right? And I don't know how it came up, but vaccinations came up, right? And I was like, are you vaccinated? And he's like, literally, like, no. He's like, I'm not getting that. He's like, no, I'm not getting that shit or whatever. And I'm like, oh okay, like the reaction, like damn, it was like heavy, like I offended him. And he's like, are you vaccinated? I was like, yes. He was like, you let them put that chip in you? I was like, holy God. I was like, no. I was like, chip. I was like, what, sir? I was like, okay, cool, you know, whatever, you know, to each his own, you know. I was just like, okay, whatever. So we're getting ready to leave, but I haven't eaten all day. It's like already 3 now, and I haven't eaten. I'm like, I haven't had Costco pizza in a really long time. But I wasn't even thinking about it. But then a seat opened up, and I was like, go grab that seat, right? So he puts the basket by the seat, and then I motion him to come over. And I'm like, so which pizza do you want? I'm like, do you want pepperoni or do you want cheese? He's like, I want pepperoni. Mind you, Costco pizza are $2 a slice, right? Not even tripping that I paid for this pizza, but I'm tripping on that you didn't even inquire. Like, oh, I'll take them $2. Okay, I would really take them, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So we get our pizza, we sit down, we're sitting there eating, and I noticed that when I was ordering the pizza, he took his grill out, right? Why was there black stuff all in his teeth? I was like, it just keeps getting worse. It just keeps getting worse. So we're sitting there talking. I'm fucking this pizza up. I am so hungry. It's the biggest, freshest slice. It's not keeping its shape. So of course, what do? You fold it. It's a big ass slice. So I fold it and I'm eating it. So he continues to keep the pizza on the table, and instead of bringing it up to his mouth, he's hunching down and bringing his face to the pizza. And I'm like, sir, at this point, I know he was like, this bitch. I was like, sir, I was like, why wouldn't you just pick the pizza up and fold it to give it more stability and then eat it like that? He's like, that is a better idea. I was like, you know what that is? That's that chip making me smaller. Talking major shit at that point, right? He's like, oh, funny. So at that point, we're just talking. You know, we're just conversing about stuff. I'm actually talking to him about the house, because that was the day that I was looking at the house and asking him, as a Texas Houston native, like, what do you think about, you know, this neighborhood, blase splee. So we're talking. It's still cool in regards to that. Like, friend wise, I would be his friend, but that's it, right? So we get up, we leave. He's like, oh, well, where's your car at? You know, so I could load your stuff into your car. I was like, bet, cool. Go to the car. I'm like moving my stuff around, but like I'm opening the thing and I'm moving stuff around to like organize it, because I have those crate things in the back of the car, and I set him up. But then I started to move stuff, and he just standing there, and I'm like, what you standing there for? I was like, you can start putting it in. He's like, oh, I didn't know what you was doing. I was like, see, that timidness. I need a man to take charge, you know, and be like assertive, not like towards me all the time, but assertive, but just like, you are the one that inquired on helping me load my car, and why am I loading my car and you're just standing there holding it? He's like, oh, I didn't know what you. I was like, see, that's the thing, you didn't know. Just do it, and then if something needs to change, then I'll change it. But you know, just do what you said you were gonna do, period. So we leave, or where I go, he takes the basket back. I hug him. I was like, okay, well, it was nice meeting you. He's like, yeah, it was nice meeting you. And he just walk off, right? So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to hit him with a message like, oh, it was nice meeting you, but I don't think, you know, I'm interested in you that way. Nothing. I never heard from that boy again. I was like, thank God he got the message and I didn't have to explain, because he knew. He knew. Like, I wasn't mean to him at all, but he knew that we weren't gonna match well. So that's that. And I haven't been on the apps since then. By choice. I've just been working on, you know, my content and, you know, the whole house situation, you know, or whatsoever. So maybe more will come, I'm not really sure, but definitely it's going to be a different ball game now in regards to dating, because it's like, bitch, I'm a homeowner now. Homeowner, I need you to come. What are you bringing to the table, sir? Not what am I bringing to the table, what are you bringing to the table, sir? Okay, nobody wants your trash bags and your PS5. Okay, do you have an apartment? What are your goals, sir? Like, come on, I need you to step it up. I'm gonna need niggas to step up their pussy game if they gonna be messing with me as a homeowner, baby. So not in a rush to get out back on this dating scene like crazy or whatsoever. I'm still basically, I'm like in the honeymoon stage with, you know, my home. So I gotta get it decorated, live in it, and just be in that bitch. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story time in regards to my dating experience thus far in H-Town. Everybody's experience is different. It just depends on how you put yourself out there, and currently I'm using dating apps to do so, and I chop it all as up to like stories. Like, I'm not mad at it. It will get better. I'm gonna speak it into existence. It will get better, but currently that is the situation right now. But don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.